breaking down the top util-only bats in fantasy, and we'll move on to Eloy Jimenez. The ADP is 186.6. 16th round of a 12-team league, has yet to play more than 122 games in a major league season. Last year went on the IL with a strained left hamstring and an appendectomy, which obviously is just unfortunate. There's nothing we can do about that. Entering his age 27 season, if you look at his per 150 game numbers, just based on his career, 30 homers, 94 RBI. Chris, this is just the age-old, okay, if Eloy could stay on the field, he's probably going to be a pretty damn good hitter.
Yeah, I mean, look, the nice thing is he can't require an appendectomy again. So right there, that's 3 weeks on the IL that you can just assume he'll be out there for it. No, Eloy is, I think there's still a lot to like in terms of the skill set. He hits the ball really hard. He doesn't strike out very much. He's just never finished putting it all together. He still doesn't hit the ball in the air often enough. He still doesn't walk. He's still a very, very poor athlete. And so I think we're going to see a 30 homer season from Eloy at some point, which we haven't seen since he was a rookie back in 2019. I still think he's got that skill level, and I think he can get there. It's just for him, there are not just the injury concerns, but I think legitimate performance concerns that are hard to get around. But at this price, I think it's perfectly fine to take the flyer on him. It's something I've done a couple of times in drafts so far. Yeah, I think he's fine.
Would you like to guess what his ADP was last year?
I'm going to guess around 90 spots higher.
70.7.
Yeah.
So more than 100 spots higher.
Yeah. And I don't think it's deserved. We didn't have performance concerns about Eloy Jimenez until last year because he stayed healthy for 120 games, the most since his rookie season when he homered 31 times and he hit just 18 home runs. I mean, he hit 16 home runs in 84 games in 2022 while batting 295. He's a career 275 hitter and has had 3 years with a batting average of 295 or better. So I think there is some batting average potential that may be slept on here, even if we question if he'll elevate the ball enough to live up to his power potential. But I will point out, having been reading through all the spring training news from all the beat writers, elevating the ball, getting the ball in the air more was a point of emphasis for Eloy Jimenez this offseason. He is reported to have worked hard at it. I wish there was more detail than that in this report, exactly what that entailed, but it's nice to know that he knows that's what he needs to do.
And look, this is something I remember Christian Yelich talking about way back when he finally started hitting for power. And it was I remember somebody got into an argument with him on Twitter, and they were basically arguing that there's no way you can hit the ball in the air more unless you change your swing. And he was like, well, I didn't change my swing at all. It's a mindset thing. It's a choosing your pitch selection thing. It's meeting the ball at a different point in your swing thing. So it's not necessarily that you have to revamp your swing to hit for more power. Yandy Diaz, by all accounts, didn't change his swing last year. It was more about hitting the ball at a different point so that you can elevate it. And so, that's one of those things where I agree. The fact that he's aware of it, this isn't an Eric Hosmer situation, right? Remember Eric Hosmer, it was kind of I got $100 million contract doing this. Why am I going to change things? It was that kind of mindset, at least for a long time. The fact that Eloy is aware of it, I think, is a good thing.
Let's talk about JD Martinez. The ADP is 238.8. That is the 20th round of a 12-team league. He turns 37 in August, remains a free agent. So hopefully we'll find out soon where he winds up. Big bounce back season last year with the Dodgers, hit 271 with 33 homers, 103 RBI in 113 games, nearly an RBI per game last year. His 893 OPS, the highest since 2019. 301 ISO, his highest since 2017. Crushed the ball last year. All the StatCast metrics supported what JD Martinez did. Scott, we just kind of sit and wait and try and figure out where he's going to be playing.
Yes, we do. Now, I think no matter where he ends up playing, because we know it won't be the Dodgers again, it's going to be worse. I think batting where he did in the Dodgers lineup, Dodger Stadium is a pretty good home run park. Doesn't have that reputation, but it is. JD Martinez was helped by all of that, I think. And for as good as his numbers were, I just need to point this out. It was in only 113 games, his 162 game pace last year. JD Martinez, 47 home runs and 148 RBI. But again, that's not going to happen because he's not going to be with the Dodgers. And he'll be getting off to a late start. And, you know, it seems like there would be a lot of reasons for concern here, except he's already going so late. And so I guess what I'm saying is, of Marcell Ozuna, Eloy Jimenez, and JD Martinez, the one who I'm least confident can repeat is JD Martinez, or the one I'm least confident, I guess, will be somebody you keep in your utility spot all year is JD Martinez, which is why I'm happy to accept the discount of Ozuna or Jimenez if it comes. But if for some reason you missed out on that, you're paying attention to other positions, somebody else reaches for one of those guys before you're expecting, it's nice to know JD Martinez is there too for even cheaper.
Let's talk about Byron Buxton. And you know, Chris will get the first word. 254.8 is the ADP. Like Eloy, injuries remain a massive hurdle for Byron Buxton. Has not played 100 games since 2017 and has done that just once in his career. Last year hit 207 with 17 homers, 9 steals over 85 games, a 150-game pace, 30 homers, 15 steals. Not that anybody thinks that Byron Buxton is going to play 150 games, but underwent an arthroscopic procedure on his right knee in October. Says he's 100% healthy, expects to have a normal build up during spring training, projected to play center field. So again, will gain that outfield eligibility. Told reporters last week, still thinks he could steal 30 bases, 94th percentile sprint speed last year. We'll see what he could do. Chris, your thoughts here. Byron Buxton going even a few picks after, more than a few, like almost 20 picks after JD Martinez.
Yeah. And, you know, you mentioned where Eloy Jimenez was being drafted last year. Well, Byron Buxton was a top 100 pick this time last year, and in NFBC leagues, at least, his ADP has dropped, I don't know, 160 spots since then. So yeah, there's no downside here. Like, oh, Byron Buxton can't stay healthy. Oh, he's made a glow. Who cares? It's your 20th round pick.
And
for
it's
a
an
guy
outfield.
who,
it's an outfielder by week 2 or 3.
Yeah. And for a guy who from 2019 to 2022, which is he broke out in 2019. That was basically when he figured it out. He averaged 70 games in those 4 seasons. And that's including 2020, but even he had 18 home runs and 8 steals. If that's all you get from Byron Buxton is 18 home runs and 8 steals in 70 games, good pick at 250th overall. Like there's absolutely no downside to taking him. I know that everybody's going to do the thing because it's Byron Buxton and whatever. He's probably the fact that this time last year, they were saying there's no way he's going to play the outfield. He is our DH. His knee is not capable of playing the outfield. This year, he is their everyday center fielder. I think that tells you that he's in a much better spot than he was last year. That doesn't mean he's going to stay healthy. I think it's much more likely that he doesn't than that he does. Mm-hmm. I expect Byron Buxton to hit at a 30-plus homer pace, probably closer to 40 homers, given his track record.
I see in a lot of the comments, and I've seen them on Twitter too, about how people just don't care. They don't want anything to do with Byron Buxton.
That's fine.
But the cost is so low here. And this is a case where even if you drafted Ohtani or Ozuna or Eloy Jimenez or JD Martinez, you can still justify taking Byron Buxton.
Yep, absolutely.
Because he's going to be outfield eligible. In the long run, you're going to be playing him in the outfield if you're playing him at all. And I haven't had occasion to draft him yet because most of the mocks we do don't have a bench. But once we start getting into these real drafts, TGFBI is beginning here on Monday. You know, I might have an asterisk by Buxton's name.
It's just, it's an all upside, no downside pick. I get being out on him at a top 100 price. That makes perfect sense. You were vindicated. Saying you won't draft Byron Buxton at 250 is just being stubborn for no reason.
He's going after Taj Bradley.
What did Taj Bradley do to you? Come on, Scott.
I mean, he's going after like Taylor Ward, who I think can be
great.
I think he can be a good player, but like there's a huge question mark there. He's going behind Dalton Varsho, who
Dalton Varsho working on things in the offseason. Come on. Dalton Varsho working on things.
I'm sorry, but
he's going behind Shea Langoliers.
Yeah, like it just draft Byron Buxton. It's fine, guys.